Hi everybody, it's Alex. Today I'm going to do a quick video, and it's just going to be a story time video. It's kind of not like it's a sad story time. It's like a sad and then it gets happy story time. Scary, sad, and happy. So let's just get into it. Lee was in my chemistry class, and it was so weird because I was having the best day ever. Like, it was such a great day. And then we went into my class, and this was my junior year. It's pretty close to the end of the year. So as you can imagine, everybody was like, almost done with, the curricular stuff, so you kind of were just doing fun things to pass the time. I think we had like 3 weeks left or 2 weeks left of school, 2 weeks. We had about 2 weeks left of school, and it was just like an easy 2 weeks, So I was in my chemistry class, and we were doing a fun lab. Emphasis on the fun. And we were making, I believe it was called Esther, I can't remember, and oh my gosh, guys, like, I remember
having my partner with me, and she was a really good friend of mine, and I remember basically what Esther is it's a artificial smell. So we put all these chemicals together in a beaker on a hot plate, and then you take that middle layer of the rest of the chemicals. There's like this layer that's like an oil, and you take little thing, this things that suck things up. I don't remember what it's called, but you take one of those and you actually put it on a piece of paper, and you wave it, and you smell whatever smell you created, like some were banana, strawberry, chocolate, like, you know what I mean, like artificial smell. And they actually smell just like them. So
we were kind of rushing because it wasn't, it was the time that we were almost done, and we really wanted to make one more because, how fun is it to make artificial smells, and we wanted to say that we can make all of them instead of just the 3 that were required. One moment. So we got all the ingredients in the thing, and I'm getting ready to get done with this one, and my partner was like, okay. She said, take that smell it, write it down, and she goes, and I'm going to be getting the ingredients to make the other one. And I was like, perfect. She goes, make sure you look at the clock and make sure you take it out within like 3 minutes or something. I'm like, okay. So as I'm looking at it, I'm like, we have glasses on, like safety glasses. I'm looking at it, and like, it looks normal, like looks like all the other ones that we made three prior to that. So we're on our 4th one, getting ready to make our 5th one, and I look up to tell the clock, and the beaker's probably here. I look up to tell the clock because the clock was on that side of my face, and next thing I know, I couldn't see anything. I ended up stumbling back and hitting the wall, and I remember, oh my gosh, there's so high anxiety. I remember pulling like off my glasses and throwing them down, and I remember like touching my eyes because I couldn't see anything. I could see a little bit, but it was so like black and blurry that it was so hard to make out anything. And then that's kind of where I was like, okay, just walk around like you're fine. Like, at that time I wasn't in any pain or anything like that, and I started walking. And by that time, I started to really freak out because I remember touching my eyes because my eyes were open. And then that's kind of when I started freaking out because my eyes were open. And then that's kind of when I started to, it all hit me that like, whoa, boo, you can't see. And I ended up walking to find the teacher. And I don't know why I just didn't yell help or anything at that time. But I remember yelling or walking. I remember walking kind of towards where I remember where the desk would be. Because here's all the desks, here's the chemistry station, so you have to, and here's his desk in this corner. So you had to literally walk all the way around all these desks. I don't know how I thought I was going to get there. I don't know, I'm Superwoman. But as soon as I started walking, I ended up tripping over a desk and actually falling. And that's when it really, really hit me, and that's when everybody got my attention, like, because nobody saw that it exploded in my face. Because at the time I was so like it got in my nose, it got in my mouth, so I was like, whoa, like it was, I didn't say anything because it took my breath away. So I ended up walking up there, I fell, and then that's when I got everybody's attention, and that's when I stood up and I just yelled on the top of my lungs, I can't see. And that's when I started crying, and I really started to freak out because I really couldn't see anything. So that's when he had me go over to the eye wash station, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you've ever had your eyes washed out by one of those things, it is near to impossible to be in shock, to hyperventilate, and wash your eyes out with a power washer at the same time, because I was drowning myself because I just couldn't keep, he said, get your face in there, and I was like, I can't breathe because I'm drowning, like, so I did that for 25 minutes, and I would stop and, like, kneel down and, like, look at where I could hear his voice, and I would say, like, I can't see anything, like, I'm in a lot of pain, like, can you please help me, and that was so bad. And after the 25 minutes was up that I was required to wash my eyes out, he said, yeah, how do you feel? Like, I said, I really can't. I started crying at this time again, and I was like, I really can't see anything, like, please help me. So I remember him taking me to the nurse's station, and I was there, and I remember he was going back to read the MSDS sheets on what to do, because you have to read those. If anybody gets any chemicals spilled on them, you're supposed to read those and then take further action, whether you're supposed to call 911 or do this or do that. So he had a call. I was in the office, and I remember, like, rocking back and forth, and by this time my eyes were swelled shut, and I remember her giving me a cold rag to put on my eyes to help with the pain, I guess. I don't know what that was going to do, but it didn't help anything. And I remember her just, like, kind of crying and sobbing and just being like, please help me, like, what's going on, like, what do I do? And she was like, you need to chill out. And by that time, like, I just was like, if I could see where you are, like, I would totally freaking punch you in the face for saying that, because that is the rudest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Like, chill out. I'm sorry that I could just see, and I'm blind now. So by that time I was actually pretty upset, and I remember it almost felt like forever before he actually came back and said, you can call 911. So I just feel like it was so long because I was in such pain and such high anxiety, and I was such in shock that I just didn't even know what was going on. I kept, like, being like, wake up, like, you're daydreaming. Like, I literally said you're daydreaming like 100 times, and I kept, like, opening my eyes and realizing that I still can't see. So by the time they got there, they were, like, I remember hearing, like, them sprinting down the hallway, because we had tile hallway, and I remember hearing sprinting and just wheeling of that gurney thing or whatever you call it. I remember them sprinting and wheeling that, like, running. And I heard him yelling. I heard her yell at the nurse, like, why doesn't she have any water on her eyes? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, and I remember them picking me up and putting me on this and having me hold my, this saline drip onto the bridge of my nose to kind of soothe my eyes and to help go in there. And by that time, he asked me if I could open my eyes, and I said, no, I can't. This one I could a little bit, but this one was completely swelled shut. And I remember just talking to me and just being really nice, and, like, I remember getting into the actual ambulance itself, which I think that was my very first ambulance ride, being an adult and actually remembering. I don't know if I was in one as a child. I don't think I was. But that was, like, my very first ambulance ride, and I remember going there. And I remember it kind of felt like a very quick ride because they were going fast. And I remember just him asking me what happened, and I tried to tell him without crying, and I started crying again. He was like, it's okay, like, we're going to get you taken care of. And I remember getting them opening the doors when we got to the hospital. And I don't know how my mom beat me there, but I remember them opening up the doors and wheeling me out. And I don't think my mom had just got there or something. I don't know what happened. And I remember her getting off, and I just hear, like, that's my daughter, and that's when I started crying again, because it was just like, oh my god, like, this is real, like, this is actually happening, my mom's here, like, this is some real shiz, like, what do I do? And I remember them taking me into the actual nurse's station, or hospital room, or whatever. I remember everybody being there, and my sister just getting there, and by that time, I didn't know what they were going to do. Like, are you guys going to pop my eyeballs out? Like, what's going on? I couldn't see the color of the room. I couldn't see my nurse. I couldn't see anything. So I remember them getting me a shot of morphine in my arm, and I didn't even feel that. I remember them saying that they were going to put these lenses in my eyes. And the lenses go, it was some painful stuff, people. I remember they kept taking the pH level of my eye with a piece of paper. So they would stick the piece of paper in my eye and then like rip it off because it was paper, so it hurt and my eye was already burned. So it felt super weird. And they put these lenses in my eyes, and it felt like it went all the way in the back of my eye. Like it lay literally like lens, and they were like giant suction cups with tubes, and the tubes went in, and I closed my eyes, and the whole lens that went all the way in the back of my eyes was saline water, and it had holes all in the lenses to, flush out or dilute the chemicals that were in there. And I'm gonna actually show a picture. My mom actually got a picture of what the lenses look like in my eyes. If you guys are squeamish or anything, I would advise you to look away right now, because I'm gonna put a picture in here. So look away now if you don't like to see anything gross. But this is the lenses that they had in my eyes. So it was tubes, and it was, oh my gosh, it was very painful. And I remember I already had the tubes in and then my sister got there, and I remember her giving me a hug and like crying, and I remember her putting her elbow on this huge suction that was in my eye, and kind of like tugging on the thing, and I was like, okay, you gotta get off, like you're gonna pull my eye out. And I remember sitting there for, gosh, it felt like 2 hours that I had those stupid things flushing my eyes, and they finally took me back, and they said, you need to see a eye specialist like as soon as you leave here. So I ended up going to an eye specialist right after that, and by that time I think that's when the painkillers were moving in, because I felt great for a little bit, and I ended up getting there, and I remember feeling great. And then I remember going there and him saying, like, we don't know, like there's no prognosis, like you did burn 3 layers of your eye off, you have 4-degree burns on your eyes, like take it easy. They gave me a bunch of eye medication. They asked me if I could read anything, and I remember not being able to read like really anything. And I remember reading a very thick line, like a very, like, ones that normal people can see. Like the one below the big E is the one I was trying to read, and I started reading that, and they're like, my parents were like looking, and they're like, what are you reading? I said, the second line. They're like, the second line after the E? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and they're like, and that's when I think everything set in, and I had to go to the eye doctor every day for a week, and then I had to go back the next week every other day, and then it kind of went out from there. But long story short, I ended up actually regaining every sight that I had, and that, to me, is probably the biggest blessing that I will ever receive in my whole life. Trauma that you go within your eye and not getting a prognosis from your eye doctor, because he had no idea what was going to happen, was so freaking scary. Like, that is the scariest thing I think I've ever been in my whole life, and that changes you as a person. So that really is the whole story. I ended up totally being able to see. I see now just fine. Every now and then I get really bad headaches in that eye that I got most of the burn and the trauma in. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the actual eye injury itself, or just me getting headaches, but I get them about a lot, and they hurt really bad. But I have really bad dry eye too, and not as bad as I used to, but it's not the best. Like, I really can't self-lubricate my eye. I don't know, it's just a big thing. And that's it. I don't know if you guys have been through any like traumatic stories in your life, but anything like that, or if you guys lost anything that meant dear to you, like, or you don't know what it's like to not be able to hear or see again or walk. Like, it's so scary, and it's sad, like how one day you're running, and then the next you can't walk anymore. Like, that to me sucked. Like, oh, I can see, I can do all this, and now I can't for 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't really see anything, and I think that's why I just, wow, that was a big part of my life, and I figured I'd share it with you guys. And take what you have, don't take it for granted. Take it in every day and take care of what you do have, because one day you might not have it anymore. So with that, I thank you guys for watching. If you're not already and you'd like to be, subscribe, hit that button down below, become a member, and rock out with me daily. If you'd like, you could follow me on my Instagram page at Over the Edge Makeup, and that's about it. I have a couple other videos this week for you guys, and if you guys would like to watch them, I'd be very happy. See you guys later. Bye.